You can't never be a reverend father. You must marry me. But you say...
The wind carried strange whispers that night. It was not from the trees, and it was not from people. It was from somewhere deeper, the kind of whisper that sinks into your soul. Michael sat alone on the old wooden bench outside his family's compound. His eyes were fixed on the moon, but his mind was far away. Earlier that evening, a voice had said something to him in the church, something so heavy that it followed him into the night. Michael, God is calling you. But Michael was no churchman. In fact, in his 24 years, he had never taken religion seriously. His family had always followed the old ways, offering kola nuts and palm wine to ancestral spirits during festivals. His father was respected in the village as a custodian of those traditions. So how could a boy like him be hearing this? The truth was, everything started 2 years earlier when he met Grace. Grace was like light walking in human form. She wore her faith like a crown, always carrying her rosary, always speaking softly about love and forgiveness. Michael first saw her at the village market. She was helping an old woman carry yams, smiling as though kindness cost nothing. He did not believe in love at first sight, but something in his heart shifted that day. He found excuses to meet her, buying oranges from her aunt's stall, walking the long road to the stream just because she might be there. Slowly, they began to talk, and he began to admire not just her beauty, but the peace she carried inside her. One Sunday, she invited him to her Catholic church. Michael almost laughed. Him? Inside a church? But for reasons he did not understand, he went. That was the day his life began to change. Michael had never stayed inside a Catholic church or any other church before. The high white walls felt too clean, too foreign. Statues of saints stood silently in the corners, their eyes following him like they knew his secrets. But Grace was there beside him, her hand gently guiding him to sit. The choir began to sing, and the sound washed over him like cool water. Something inside him softened. It was not the kind of excitement he felt at village festivals. It was quieter, deeper. When the priest preached, Michael found himself listening, really listening. Words about forgiveness, about finding a greater purpose, about a God who saw people not for what they were, but for what they could become. From that day, Sundays became different. He started going to church with Grace. At first, it was just to see her, to smell the faint perfume she wore, to watch her lips move when she sang. But little by little, something began to change inside him. Grace noticed too. "You are different now," she said one evening as they walked back from Mass. "Your eyes, they look like they have seen something new." Michael smiled. Maybe they have. Months passed. Michael no longer went to the shrine with his father. He stopped joining the drinking gatherings under the mango tree at night. Instead, he spent his evenings reading the Bible Grace had given him. One night, he could not sleep. He stepped outside and looked at the moon. And that is when it happened, the whisper, soft but heavy with meaning. "Michael, God is calling you." He told Grace about it the next day. She laughed at first, thinking it was just a dream. But when she saw his serious face, She grew quiet. Maybe God really is speaking to you, she said slowly. But calling you to what? Michael did not know yet. But over the next few months, the feeling grew stronger. During Mass, during prayers, even when he was alone. Then, one afternoon, he walked up to Grace and said the words that would change everything. Grace, I think I am called to be a priest. Grace froze. The smile on her face faded, but she quickly forced it back. A priest? Michael, that means you will never marry. He nodded. I know. She said nothing more. But in her heart, a small crack began to form. When Michael told his family, the reaction was explosive. His father shouted so loud that even the neighbors stopped to listen. After all I have done for you and yours, brothers, after going out of my way to give you a better life, you want to throw away our traditions for this foreign religion? You are my first son, Michael. You will carry our name. Michael's mother cried quietly in the corner. His younger brothers just stared. But Michael stood his ground. I have to follow what I believe is right. Grace was the one who encouraged him to apply to the seminary. She bought him the forms, even helped him study for the entrance exams. On the day he left for training, she waved at him, smiling. But deep inside, she was battling a storm. She had always imagined marrying Michael, raising children together, sitting beside him at Mass as a wife. Now all that was slipping away. Something inside her hardened. If she could not have Michael as a husband, maybe she could make sure he never became a priest at all. Years passed. Michael excelled in seminary. His teachers spoke highly of him. His fellow students respected him. He returned to the village during holidays, wearing his black cassock with quiet pride. But with every step he took towards priesthood, Grace felt the distance between them grow. One evening, she finally spoke. Michael, do you ever think about us? He sighed. Grace, you brought me to God, and now this is my path. I cannot turn back. Her heart broke a little more. That night, she lay in bed thinking about all she had given, all she had sacrificed. And for what? To lose him to the church? Something inside her hardened. It began with whispers. Grace told a friend in the choir that she had seen Michael with another woman in town. The friend told someone else, and soon the rumor spread like dry season fire. When Michael heard about it, he was shocked. Grace, why would you say that? She shrugged, feigning innocence. People talk, Michael. I cannot control their tongues. But Michael knew the truth. And worse, he saw the doubt in some people's eyes when they looked at him. Still, he pushed on. But the attacks did not stop. Letters were sent to his seminary accusing him of misconduct. Anonymous notes appeared under his door, each one aimed to break his spirit. But Michael refused to bend. The battle between Michael and Grace became a quiet war. As he focuses on his calling, Grace focuses on destroying it. Yet, every time she thought she had cornered him, he found a way to rise again. Ironically, their lives remained tangled. They still saw each other in church. They still exchanged polite greetings. But underneath the surface, there was tension so thick you could almost hear it crackle. One day, after another false allegation against him was dismissed, Michael confronted her. "Grace, why? You were the one who brought me here. Why are you trying to pull me out?" Her eyes were wet. "Because you were supposed to be mine." The year Michael was to be ordained, Grace launched her most dangerous move yet, a claim that he had promised to marry her before joining the seminary. It reached the ears of his superiors. Michael was called in for questioning. He told the truth, but he could see doubt in their eyes. For weeks, the decision hung in the air. Grace expected him to be dismissed. But to her shock, the church cleared him. On the day of his ordination, Michael stood in front of the altar, tears streaming down his face. Grace sat at the back, her heart pounding with something she could not name, pain, regret, and a strange sense of relief. Months later, Grace began avoiding everyone. She stopped going to the market and stopped joining choir practice. Then one Sunday, she walked into church wearing a simple white veil. People whispered. Some thought she was getting married. But when she walked up to the altar and knelt, the priest smiled. Grace had decided to become a Catholic sister. Michael heard the news from another priest. At first, he did not believe it. Then, he saw her months later in the brown habit of her order. She looked peaceful. They spoke briefly. "I guess we both married God," she said with a sad smile. He smiled back. "And maybe that is how it was meant to be." The years rolled on. Michael served in parishes across the country, preaching love and forgiveness. Grace served in schools and hospitals, caring for the poor. They rarely saw each other, but when they did, there was no bitterness anymore, only a quiet understanding that some paths, though painful, lead exactly where they are supposed to. And in the village, their story became a tale mothers told their children of love, loss, faith, and how sometimes the person who changes your life may not walk beside you, but still walks with you in spirit. This true life story teaches that love, faith, and personal calling can take unexpected paths, and that letting go does not always mean losing. Michael and Grace's journey shows the importance of integrity under pressure, the courage to follow one's true vocation, and the value of forgiveness and respect even after pain. It reminds us that people who shape our lives may not walk beside us forever, but they can still inspire our purpose from afar. It's a lesson in maturity, selflessness, and finding peace in what life chooses for us, not just what we desire. I hope you enjoyed it.
Until next time, this is Rietta. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, like, share and comment below so that I will know your opinion. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you will be the first to know when the next video drops. Peace out.